Ladies and gentlemen, please rise.
Good morning and welcome to Spring Convocation. My name is Wanda Costin and I serve as the Provost and Vice President Academic here at Dalhousie University. Please be seated. I now invite Elder Ann Labilois to deliver the Mi'kmaq welcome.
Willie Iksikbu, Kwe. Hello and good morning. Oh my gosh, so much to be grateful for and to celebrate. Congratulations, students. It took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to be where you are today. So let's give a hand for the students for getting here. And a welcome also, and a grateful, thankful for all the parents and sisters and aunties and uncles who got you here. They deserve a big applause too. Like, wow. So welcome to Jubuktu, the Great Harbor. And I always like to mention that it's very special when I woke up this morning because I understand that we do not breathe on our own. That is such a gift that we forget about that was given to us, each and every one of us, because Spirit does not judge who it gives a breath of life to. It gave breath of life to of all creation so that it could sustain itself and have the earth here so we can come along and do what we do. And it still takes care of us no matter what we do to it. And that's a pretty special message to always realize. So I'd like to just share with you for a moment, and I would like to ask you to meet your sacred breath for a moment, because it's most important that we get to do that at least once in a while, because we don't ever think of it. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes just for a moment. And I'm going to ask you to take that breath in through your nostrils like a newborn baby does, and then release it through your nostrils again. And then you're going to release your shoulders every time you release your breath, very naturally. So let's try that. This breath in, feel it as it goes in. And this breath out, feel it as it releases itself. This breath in, you are well and whole. And this breath out, so grateful to be part of. And release your shoulders at the same time. Release your muscles and allow them to relax. This breath in, as we breathe with the ancestors' breath, and release this breath. Release our shoulders. And all the anxiety and excitement of getting here, and all that's going to take place from after, during, and the future, allow it to just be with every breath that you release. So now just find your breath, your own natural rhythm of breathing that was gifted to you. For everything in nature and the universe and on Mother Earth breathes with you. And without one of those things, we could not be who we are. In Sonogama, all my relations, my people knew that we were related to all of it because all of it is in us, and we are part of that. So, oh great one, thank you for this breath today. Thank you for having me here another day. And Walalin, thank you for loving me this much. Take my hands and help me to respect the beautiful things you have created and how to take care of it, including myself. Take my feet and guide me so I can find that way of life that knows wellness, kindness, love, laughter, compassion, courage, strength, understanding, forgiveness, empathy, resilience, honesty, wisdom, and peace. Help me to learn and see the lessons you have placed in every leaf and rock, so I can learn these teachings and bring them back to the people. And help me not to ever put myself above my brothers and sisters of spirit. Not ever, but to conquer the greatest enemy, myself. So that when my eyes fade like the setting sun, my spirit can come to you without shame. Tahoe, this breath in, and this breath out, and release your shoulders and allow yourself to be the best you can be in this moment, because it's the most important moment of your life. And remember how you use your tongue, the most powerful tool you have, to be kind, to use your ears to listen to the stories of all, because all those stories have the teachings that we need to hear of how to create things and how to see how the land has changed. So now you can bring yourself back to the moment where you're sitting and slowly open your eyes, and you'll feel that sensation of being in a moment of perfect healing, because you've allowed your body, mind, and spirit to be absolutely aligned in a peaceful way, just like the forest does. So very important. You can do this at, I say, at Costco. Perfect place to practice that. It's part of our daily life. So, and you have it always. Your breath is with you always. So, Walalio, thank you to everyone, and have an incredible day, and let us celebrate, for sure, in Sonogama, all my relations.
Thank you, Elder Ann. Dalhousie University is located in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Olnook. We are all treaty people. There are three components to this statement. The first is acknowledgement the land Dalhousie sits on is part of Mi'kma'ki, the territory of the Olnook. The second is the acknowledgement of the territory as both ancestral and unceded, recognizing that the peace and friendship treaties signed between the British Crown and Mi'kmaq did not involve surrender of land. Finally, the phrase, "we are all treaty people," reminds us that these treaties apply to all of us, indigenous and settler alike. At Dalhousie, we continue to work and build on these critically important relationships and friendships, and we remain committed to the recommendations of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission report. We also recognize African Nova Scotians as distinct people whose histories, legacies, and contributions have enriched that part of Mi'kma'ki known as Nova Scotia for more than 400 years. We are deeply grateful to the Indigenous and African Nova Scotian faculty, staff, students, administrators, and elders who help guide our efforts, from pathways programs and admissions to curriculum and community partnerships. While we recognize there is still much more to do, we remain committed to a future grounded in equity and inclusive excellence. Today is a day of celebrations. It is one of endings, and new beginnings. This is your day. We invite you to celebrate with all the fervor and joy that you can muster. I'd like to start by introducing the stage party. If you could please stand or raise a hand once I call your name, I'd appreciate it. Elder Ann Labillawa. Dr. Rustum Southwell, Chancellor. Dr. Kim Brooks, President and Vice Chancellor. Dr. Sachin Seft, Chair of Senate. Dr. Eric Rappaport, Acting Dean, Faculty of Architecture and Planning. Dr. Leslie Fillmore, AVP Academic. Dr. Michael McAllister, Associate Dean, Academic, Faculty of Graduate Studies. Dr. Catherine Benart, Acting Associate Dean, Research and Global Relations. Dr. Makiko Terashima, former Acting Dean, Faculty of Architecture Planning and University Beadle. Professor Richard Croker, Convocation Speaker. We also have with us today, in both the audience and on stage, faculty and staff members who have supported your graduates on their journey. Thank you. Please be seated. Just a bit of housekeeping before we proceed with the ceremony. Please note that these aisleways are our exit rows. Please keep them clear. You'll see 2 green signs at the back there. We also have a quiet room up in room 412 for those who might need a little quiet time.
Thank you, Provost Costin. Good morning, graduates. It's time. Please rise. And if you're unable to, you can wave at the audience. Chancellor Southwell, as chair of the Senate of Dalhousie University, I ask you to confer degrees on those candidates whose names have been approved by Senate.
By virtue of the authority vested in me and in Dalhousie University, I admit to their respective degrees and diplomas with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto, those candidates who have fulfilled the requirements of that degree and whose names have been approved by Senate. Admito vos ad gradum. Congratulations.
Graduates, you may now be seated.
Graduates, this is the moment you've been waiting for. This is the culmination of your hard work. For some of you, it will be your first time across the stage, but for others, second or third. I invite you to take a moment and reflect upon all you've accomplished in the journey here and what lies ahead. As you come across the stage, you'll be greeted by the Chancellor. Please pause there. He will have some words of encouragement for you. And then as you proceed across here is where you will be met by your Dean, who will give you your alumni pin, and this is also where your official photo will be taken. At this point, I invite Dean Eric Rappaport and Ellen McDonald, an orator and alum from the Fountain School of Performing Arts, to present the candidates who are here today receiving their degrees.
Chancellor Southwell, I am honored to present the following candidates on behalf of the Faculty of Architecture and Planning who have fulfilled the requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Community Design. Sarah Eva Alonzi. Maida Amir, with Sexton Distinction. Sarah Anini. Megan Becker. Biliana Beliveau, with Sexton Distinction. Kieran Connor Brendan Brown, with Sexton Distinction. Kieran Lockhart Frederick Davies King. Renju Ding. Zoya Hussein, with Sexton Distinction and the University Medal in Community Design. Isabella Ilias. Bridget Claire Kearney Fick. Allie Sue Lanehouse, with distinction. Ella Lisbeth McGowan, with Sexton Distinction. Kyle Patrick Hunkalada Padilla. Jamal Richard Racky, with distinction. Kaylee Kira Rayner, with Sexton Distinction. Rowan Sky Sharp, with Sexton Distinction. Mia Jean Smith, with Sexton Distinction. Evan Rain Steves. Amanda Thompson. Gabriel Canel Velasquez Thomas. This concludes the presentation of candidates for the Bachelor of Community Design. Chancellor Southwell, I am now honored to present the following candidates who have fulfilled the requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Environmental Design Studies. Jesse Abbey. Maria Catherine Agambar. Saad El Said. Jillian Jane Winter Berry. Ashley Evelyn Boone. Liam Alexander Brown, with distinction. Max Brown. Madeline Camille Case, with distinction. Danielle Cassavy. Carissa Cumming. Deanna Mae Fraser, with distinction. Blake Kevin Burke Garston. Ashley Greer, joined on stage by Musa and Asa. Isaac Janucci Geyer. Jennifer Claire Harris. Natalie Joan Rivera Hill, with sexton distinction. Parmita Jafari, with distinction. Sophie Bronwyn Jones, with distinction. Maya Sierra Lambert. Abigail Marie LeBlanc with Sexton Distinction. Kate McKenzie. Daniela Valenzuela McLean with distinction. Heather Ann Kathleen Mockin. Lisa May McComb with distinction. John McPartland. Caroline Batista Milks with distinction. Oliver William Mitson. Malak Mohammed. Hasnain Mohammed. Brennan Thomas Monaghan. Cameron Lee Murphy with Sexton Distinction. Richard Kinanjui Nede. Liam Lawrence O'Brien. Ogale Frederick Ova. Kaylin Gloriana Parker. Ev Ariane Pichet. Taylor Lee Roberts. Elise Roussel. Adam Salemi. Julia Margaret Reedy Sheehan with distinction. Catherine Simar with distinction. Amik Brar Singh with distinction. Rebecca Margaret Singleton, with distinction. Treasure Oluwafemi Sholaduye. Risa Takahashi. Jesse Van Hattem. Presley Rain Warren Daigle. Sophia Grace Weller, with distinction. Veda May Wells McCon. Madison Emma Willoughby, with distinction. Hannah Marie Zilke, with distinction. This concludes the presentation of candidates for the Bachelor of Environmental Design Studies. Chancellor Southwell, I am now honored to present the following candidates on behalf of the Faculty of Graduate Studies, who have fulfilled the requirements for the degree of Master of Architecture. Rafa Amar Aklan. Mary Caplice. Benjamin Austin Ernst. Sophie Emma Blackwood Fitzgerald. Cole Roberts Fraser. Harilos Yorgakopoulos Tolis. Keegan Ronald Gray. Nicholas Gordon Johnson. Maya Shangyimin Kerfoot. Shayna Lee Shondell Konishuk. Nicholas James Leach. Catherine Emily McLeod. Camila Mascarenas Castro Lima. Teresa Ann Mayhew. Colby Allen Rice. Melanie Claire Roberts. Jacob Rusin Steele. Davis John Skipon. Rowan J. Trainer. Keegan Warren. This concludes the presentation of candidates for the Master of Architecture. Chancellor Southwell, I am now honored to present the following candidates who have fulfilled the requirements for the degree of Master of Planning. Abdul Karim Osigwe Amadu. Emmanuel Amwateng. Matthew Thomas Bailey. Nicole Shara. Yahoy Chen. Sarah Elizabeth Doyle. Chun Fan. Zara Gulipur. Jenkins. Atarv Vinod Kapne. Mo Lee. Stephen Douglas McInnes. Chi Yam Eden Peng. Mansi Rawat. Harkirat Singh Saini. Monica Satijit Sati. Braden Edward Soltis. Asta Tapa. Kate Ann Wagner. Catherine Josephine Parsons Walsh. Chinrui Zhang. This concludes the presentation of candidates for the Master of Planning. Chancellor Southwell, I am now honored to present the following candidate who has fulfilled the requirements for the degree of Master of Planning Studies. Louis Blagoji. This concludes the presentation of candidates for the Master of Planning Studies.
Please join me in congratulating our graduates. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize you, the family and friends who have supported your graduates throughout this time. Graduates, please congratulate and thank your family and friends. I now ask Dr. Eric Rappaport, Acting Dean, Faculty of Architecture and Planning, to introduce today's convocation speaker.
Good morning, everybody. It's a great pleasure that I introduce to you Professor Emeritus Richard Coker. Richard's career spans both practice and teaching and began with a strong foundation. He studied at the University of Manitoba and then at the Architectural Association in London, and spent several years working in the United Kingdom before returning to Canada, joining what was then the Technical University of Nova Scotia, which is actually celebrating the faculty's 50th anniversary. Over the years, Richard has become an integral part of our faculty, teaching, mentoring, helping shape how we think about architecture and design, and he continues that work today of supervision of students. His influence extends well beyond the School of Architecture, with visiting professorships at universities and around the world. Alongside his academic work, he maintained an active design practice. His work focuses on communities facing ecological and cultural pressures, projects that remind us that design is not just about the buildings, but it's about the people, the relationships, and the responsibilities. His contributions have been recognized internationally, both here in Canada, the United States, and Europe. And in 2023, he was appointed the Order of Canada, recognizing his significant contribution to Canadian culture. A defining part of Richard's work has been his long-standing collaboration with Elder Dr. Albert Marshall here in Nova Scotia, as well with the Dakota Nation in Minnesota. Together, they have explored how Indigenous ways of knowing can inform how we design, how we teach, and how we approach research. Richard's career reflects a deep commitment to community, to learning, and to the idea that design can make a meaningful difference. Please join me in welcoming Professor Emeritus Richard Coker to the stage.
Now you understand Professor Emeritus means that I'm a recovering professor. And you know, when someone of my age stands in front, sees some younger people standing in front of them, we have an uncontrollable compulsion to give advice. And so even your parents are looking pretty young these days. And, graduates, parents of graduates, fellow faculty, honorants, administrators, thank you for the honor of addressing our graduates. Now, you know, I have the honor of addressing you, maybe even giving you advice. But luckily, you've been now well trained in ignoring advice. It's a very important skill. And nonetheless, I'm going to fulfill my end of the obligation, and you can fulfill yours. So I thought, well, maybe I could get around that by maybe advising you on what advice to ignore. So I thought, well, maybe you could ignore the advice that in order to set our economy straight, we're going to have to trash the environment, and that it'll only be temporary. So hopefully you can ignore some of that advice. Or there's the advice that we can build our economy by lowering wages and lowering taxes on wealth. Maybe we can practice ignoring that. Or we could ignore the advice that we can address our housing crisis by depending on property speculators to do that. So as part of any good convocation address, I sort of thought, you know, there should be some poetry in it, right? I mean, so I Googled the poems for convocation, and I kind of came up dry. So I thought, well, it looks like I'm going to have to write one. And I hasten to add that I never wrote poetry for a living, so, take it easy on me. But I wrote a short poem, and it's called Problems My Generation Have Neglected to Solve Since Our Convocation. So I'm going to take you have to give me a bit of leniency here. So here it goes. There was climate change, and oh yes, the economy, my dull social life and my dire physiognomy, my lack of appeal, other social injustice, but now we must deal with the real questions that face us, like a huge student loan and my overdue rent. With all those out of the way and my money all spent, there'll be time left over to step into your carbon footprint. So I thought, well, I'll make it clear that I didn't use AI, right? And I thought, well, they'll still be pretty suspicious. So I copied and pasted it and sent it to ChatGPT. And I asked, does this poem sound like something that would be written by AI? And I thought, yeah, it's a slam dunk, right? No AI would write this. But ChatGPT comes back instantly and says this poem was clearly written by AI. And so now I'm thinking, well, that's kind of a compliment, right? It's telling me that there's a building full of computers somewhere, high-speed computers powered by many gigawatts, that composed this poem. I mean, that's quite something. But then it goes on to say, the highly predictable rhyming schemes, the direct naming of generic tropes, and the clumsiness of the meter are all classic hallmarks of generative text from AI-generated poetry. So now I'm really messed up. Because at first I was feeling good, but now what about this? So it's telling me, AI writes trash poetry. But not only that, I write trash poetry. And it goes on further to say that AI generative poetry models often default to a heavily literal structure and tends to lack the deeper thematic subtlety and unique voice of human authored creative writing. So, so much for any literary advice from ChatGPT. Keep in touch with any literature profs you had. They're not going to be replaced. So AI is not going to take us where we're going, I don't think. AI lacks spirit and imagination. All of us have been through hard times on the way to our accomplishments, whether you've received a bachelor's degree, master's degree, doctorate, whether you're faculty, whether you're an honorary attendee. We've all gone through hard times. What got us through wasn't necessarily even the skills we learned at, but it's our spirit and our imagination. So I know your parents are anxious for me to draw a straight line from your convocation to the employment office. And unfortunately, I can't do that. But in that regard, I would say get a union job, number one. If you don't get a union job, try and start a union. I should say that as professors at Dalhousie and as instructors, we're members of a union. And I wouldn't be standing here without having had the support of my union in those years. The other one, don't put your faith in AI. What's going to get all of us where we're going is our spirit and imagination. And in the words of the elders of our territory, there's an expression, Imsit Nogama, that means we're all related, we're all loved. Spirit and imagination will take us where we're going. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Professor Coker. Graduates, today you were led into this ceremony and will be led out by our beadle, carrying the new dawn staff of place and belonging. This staff is more than a ceremonial symbol. It embodies Dalhousie's diverse and inclusive community. Crafted with materials, textures, and symbols reflecting the richness and diversity of individuals just like you, graduates who have shaped our campus and who now join a global network of more than 165,000 alumni. The formal business of convocation is over. I ask that you remain seated so the stage party may exit. Congratulations.
Navajo.